All right. Welcome, everyone, to Session 8 of Trials of Solaria, Broken Oaths. Joining me today are four of my friends who, at least two of them, I play a lot of Hunt Showdown with. And, Blau, I just gotta tell you, man, why? Why did you do this to me? I think at the last 2.5 months, I'm up to like 400 hours in that game. When did we start? Was it like 3 months ago? Oh, man. You're muted. You're muted hard. Hard mute. But anyway, I digress.
You're still muted, Blau.
You're still muted, Blau. Uh-oh, technical issues. Well, here's the good news. Blau's muted because he's so speechless because he's so happy with the fact that he got me addicted to this game.
Am I good?
Oh, you're great.
There you go.
You're great.
Okay.
You're great. Yeah, it's been fun.
Sorry about that.
Fun. If you haven't, by the way, shameless plug, maybe Hunt Showdown will sponsor me one day. You should play that game. It's super fun. It's so addicting. Oh my god. You know what? I wake up some days and I'm like, you know what? We're not going to play Hunt Showdown today. I'm going to take a break. And then about 15 minutes later, I'm like at Hunt Showdown players. You guys want to play? Let's get after it. So there's where we're at. But with that being said, joining me today are four of my friends who I play a lot of RPGs with, and they're cool people. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and I'm going to stop talking so we can start playing this game. But let's start with people being in the wrong boxes, apparently, because I just realized that. Everyone is literally not where they're supposed to be. But I'm going to let everyone start introducing themselves, and I'm going to get the overlay fixed. So, super professional streamer here. Let's get after it. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Professional streamer. Well, since I'm first, I'll go first. I'm Drew. I'm playing Bix, the gnome hunter, and his weasel companion Pauly. Now I am. I was Brian, who was playing Ben, but now I'm Drew.
I'm playing.
I'm
Joe. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not talking now.
I
know the order's all messed up.
I was scrambling to get Twitch up to see which order the boxes were in because I didn't have it up. I'm Joe. I'm playing Eckhard, the Abadarian war priest. What order
Brian,
are we in?
are you are you going?
I'm Brian.
Okay.
I met Mind Over Brian on both Twitter and on Twitch. Although on Twitch I spell it with a 0. And I'm playing Venwivor Halbrand, our human passing ASMR sorcerer who has a shady past.
And I'm Axel, the recap czar. And I play Mikhael, who is our Kitsune entrepreneur who is not shady at all in any way.
That's good.
Any way, shape, or form.
My name's Dear Wolf. I'm playing Twitch chat today. I will be the Twitch chat. That's who I am. No, just kidding. I'm going to slide myself back up there. But no, I'm Dear Wolf. I'm the game master, super professional streamer, and who does this multiple days during the week and screws it up every time. But we have fun. It's all good. So we last left off, our intrepid adventurers. You all had attended a rather rowdy drinking extravaganza, a party of sorts, maybe a celebration, dare I say. And over the course of this celebration, a certain shadowy, weird-looking dude had showed up, and he had whispered something into Dawkin's ear, then Dawkin ran off, and then you lost him, then everyone was drunk, and it's the next day, and the first thing you would hear is just the groaning of both Solarian guards, you know, the Varnholdian guards, the musketeers, as well as some of the citizens. And I want to describe this party to you. If you look out, there is about a 300-yard perimeter around, or excuse me, for those not familiar with the yards, a 250-meter perimeter around the area, all right, as it were, of just people sleeping in the street. Broken bottles, tables, chairs, small tents have been set up, and yeah, I'm just curious what you guys do in the morning. Fill me in.
Well, Ven didn't drink, so Ven orders like a big breakfast. He makes sure to like get like bacon, eggs, like some sort of red sauce, and just like a lot of it, and then makes sure that he's like fanning the scent everywhere. Everybody come and get your breakfast. Everybody, it's delicious, you guys. He's made sure that the eggs are really runny, and he's mixing in the red sauce, so it's Extra good.
Yeah.
Just dipping the bread in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eckhard too drank very little. The Abadarian faith does not permit excess drinking or drug use of almost any kind. So
I imagine Mikhael is hanging from some ropes or like a banner on the ceiling or something that they somehow ended up on and just sleeping there, snoring loudly. Very not ready to start the day.
Bix and Pauly, well, Bix probably got fairly drunk, but he's a gnome. We do that. And Pauly can hold his liquor.
Very true. Very true. Good.
I had to be a teetotaler because I had taken a head injury and I didn't want to.
So we
Mess
both
with
show
my
up
brain.
hungry and ready for breakfast.
Very nice. Very nice. So Sigbert and his staff have a rather hearty breakfast, obviously for paying customers. But as the morning begins to progress, 30 minutes, 45, an hour goes by. Any of you that so choose partake of the delicious meal are able to do so, and the gathering of souls outside begins to slowly disperse, hobble their way home, groaning, mumbling. Perhaps a few buckets are passed around, but yeah, it was a party to remember, if only you could, because most of it, well, some of you remember, maybe half, but the other half, a lot of blank spaces on that party last night. But you're pretty sure you saw a weird shadowy guy doing some weird shadowy stuff with a certain musketeer.
I mean,
So I'm
only
curious.
Axel saw the actual. No, only Eckhard saw the
Yeah.
actual messing with.
speaking of which, immediately after breakfast, Eckhard would bring up the fact that we should probably find Dawkin as soon as possible. If he's being compulsed, he could be doing any number of things awful for himself or the city or the rulers or whoever this person's enemies are.
Ben chuckles. And then. Oh yes. Now that we've all rested for an entire night, we should definitely make haste. That's a completely sensible thing.
Eckhard kind of looks back and forth like, do you think anyone else is going to go find the compulsed Dawkin?
No,
Kind
it's
of
really more like if he was compelled to do something, he probably did it already. But
kind
the
of boots a
responsible
musketeer
fox,
beside him.
the responsible foxman here was responsible for my actions. Told me that we were staying here, so I would have done something last night. But
I'm sure Dawkin is perfectly capable of,
I couldn't have done anything about the compulsion last night if I wanted to. But
So I guess what we're saying is that Mikhael and Ven are staying here, and me and Eckhart and Pauly are gonna go try and find Dawkin.
Pauly puts his little paws up on the table.
I'm fine with this plan.
awesome.
nope. I can
Maybe
no
later
longer
I
draw
can
a
go
bunch of
visit my
squares.
sister.
Of course, Van, if you would like to go with them or anywhere else, I really do not mind. Please feel free. I'm going to stay here and drink lots of water and things. All right.
Good morning, you old snatchy fox man. Sigbert runs up behind you, claps you on the shoulder. You sure do know how to throw one hell of a zinger. Ah, gives you a good shake. And just screams your ear, and he's just like getting people up, serving food. He's like, whenever you want to throw a bash, the clumsy bear's the place for you, my old friend. And gives you a nice little thunk in the side of the arm.
Oh,
Then
Of
like
course.
delightedly eats his last piece of bacon. Like,
yeah.
3 cheers for Mikhael! Hip hip! Ah,
hurrah!
hip, hip.
Hooray!
Ah.
Hooray!
Just a lot of like very hungover hurrahs from around the room, but yes.
Fold my ears down.
I love it. So as the conversation winds down, it sounds like both Eckhard and Bix, along with Pauly, and is Ven going to stay, or is Ven going to
If
accompany
Eckhard
them
will
as
have me.
well?
I am.
Very good. Where do you wish to travel to first?
I guess Pauly and I would want to try and get a scent from him.
Pauly has been around Dawkin quite often, so I would say that if he wants to try and pick up the trail, that's absolutely within the realm of possibility and reason, for sure.
Okay. So I will give him the aspect of the wolf,
Mhm.
which will give him a +4 to his tracking ability, essentially. I think. Oh no, wait, that gives him scent.
Okay.
Hold on, which he already has. Sorry, there's too many aspects.
It's all right. Take
Oh
your
yeah.
time.
All right, I don't think I need it. I'm not giving him any aspect.
With the potential possibility of having to take an unwilling prisoner back if he's actually been compulsed and we can't break it, Eckhard would saddle his horse and everything. Get Shadow ready. While Pauly was picking up the trail.
Okay. What is that, a survival check?
Yes. You got it. 13. Pauly does pick up the scent of Dawkin. You notice from Pauly, though, Bix, that he seems a little agitated. Pauly, being the good trekker that he is, he might get a little excited. He might get a little, intense when he's like tracking someone. But there's a kind of almost like he's angry. Like his fur's standing up. He's letting out these little like hissing noises. But he has picked up some kind of trail, and he's giving you that indication like I need to follow it. But just something feels, Pauly, something feels off about the way in which he's tracking Dawkin in this
Wrong
moment,
button.
and it might be something to do with Dawkin's scent that is agitating Pauly.
All right.
I did tell Bix last night what the shadowy man smelled like because I found this scent in an alleyway. So I told Bix, so you recognize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I will also I will actually put on the aspect of the wolf, which will allow me to track as well. Through scent.
Go ahead and make a survival check.
Yep.
Damn good. So you are picking up Dawkins' scent, but it is, for lack of a better word, it is tainted. There is something off about that scent. It is as though you are smelling him, but there is also something else accompanying that scent. So imagine that you could smell the baked goods from the oven, but they were slightly burnt. So you're getting both that smell of that fresh baked bread, but there is a slight burning kind of smell accompanying it, and it almost stings your nostrils as you breathe it in. So you can track it though, and it appears, based on just following it a little bit of ways away from the clumsy bear, it looks as though it heads due west towards the western gate, the same gate that you all originally entered into varnhold from.
Dawkins smells off, guys.
What does that mean?
Yeah, would a compulsion do that normally?
I don't know. Would it? Have I ever smelled anybody that has a compulsion?
No, it doesn't smell like anything you've ever encountered before. It is though it is him, but there's something else accompanying him, as though it could even be just maybe something he's carrying something very pungent with him, but it's more than that. It's as though his scent has been modified in some way.
Okay. That's what I will relay.
If we're going to head out of the gates, we should at least inform people where we're going and what's happened with Dawkin in case we don't catch him in time or he gets back to the city before we do.
Okay, Pauly and I will wait here. I don't want to lose the scent.
I think we can send the guards as runners. We have the Queen's authority.
Mhm.
We should send one to the mayor and one to the mint. Or one to both locations for that matter. So Eckhard will attempt to convince the guards to do that if I can. Let me give
They
you
do
a
so
diploma.
without protest. They would be happy to do so. They're a little groggy. They're a little hungover.
Mhm.
Can it wait? Oh gosh. Oh wait, it's important. All right, we'll take care of it. Hey Billy, could you? I don't want to do it. Oh, what about you? And then it's just a little bit of back
Yeah.
and forth about it, but they get it done.
Okay, yeah, he'll send a written note basically saying, "Hey, Doc, we think Dawkin's been compulsed, etc."
Okay, perfect, excellent. And then I'm curious, knowing that you're heading out of the city, would you perhaps head off on your own, or would you request Mikhael to come with you?
Does we need to go back to the inn for anything? Does anyone have anything they would need to collect before?
No. Then Mikhael
I'd-
will have his own little adventure by himself, mostly sleeping and drinking wine. But that's
With
all right.
blackjack and hookers.
With blackjack and fox hookers, but I digress. All right,
Yes.
so with that being said, the three of you, four of you, including Pauly, make your way towards the western gate. Pauly and Bix both following this just slightly off scent of Dawkin. You follow it, and it gets very strong by the western gate, as though he had maybe spent a decent amount of time milling about here. And you watch as Pauly kind of does like a back and a forth, a back and a forth, and eventually starts to make his way out of the western gate, and it starts to head down the road pretty much in a straight beeline towards the pass where you all had originally entered into the Varnhold region. I'm actually going to move you guys back over to the Solaria, large Solaria map. And if you zoom over to the Varnhold area, so you are obviously in Varnhold, and the trail is actually going to lead you down the road about 3 miles, and then it arcs off and starts to head due north. Now, I'm curious, at about the 3 mile mark outside of town, you see Pauly and Bix both. They follow the trail. It starts to go north. Would you continue to follow it at this point?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Very good. So as you continue to follow the trail, you eventually come to a small, I hesitate to use the word valley, but there is a carving that looks like it goes into the side of this mountain range. So the mountains start to kind of rise up in this slow, steady slope. And as you walk, if you get close, you see that there is what appears to be not a natural formation where the stone and the rock has been kind of carved out. The walls are smooth, and it heads down towards what looks to be a natural cave formation. So it's unnatural carving into the mountain, and then there is a natural cave formation at the end of this path.
I'm sorry, and how far did we follow this after trending north?
You would have traveled roughly about 5 additional miles.
Okay.
So you're well into the wilderness surrounding Varnhold, and you're in you've passed a couple of farms. You've gotten, there's a couple of trails that lead into the mountains because there's some mines and things like that. But this appears to have been, in fact, actually, what I'll have you do is either a knowledge local, or if you have it, knowledge engineering. You can maybe determine what this cave formation is.
I have none of those things.
I think I have local. I do not.
Ben does.
Then you would recognize this as being one of the old mines from probably several years ago. It looks to be abandoned, but they carved into the side of the mountain here. They carved out this pathway. It's about 300 meters long, feet, because we are playing Pathfinder. Sorry, too much hunt. But about 300 feet long. And then it goes to where this natural cave was, and they built this ramp, little like pathway towards it to make it easier to get out whatever they were mining from this cave.
Ben will pass on that information.
Okay.
Looks like we don't have very many options. That's where he went.
If he's headed into a cave, I'm concerned that he might hurt himself, especially since he has access to gunpowder.
I would like each of you to give us a perception check, please.
I'm really good at those.
You gosh darn tootin'.
I'm 10 less good.
Holy crap, that is a 29. So, Eckhard, you would actually hear what sounds like pacing. It's very distant, but it's coming from inside the cave, and you hear what sounds like pacing and muttering coming from inside the cave. Something about, I mean, with a 29, Jesus, that was a great roll.
Yeah.
Wowski. With that 29, you would pick up this phrase that is being repeated over and over by, and it sounds like it might actually be Dawkin, but there's this phrase that is being repeated again and again and again. And he simply states that where the shadows hide, the light is non-existent. Where the shadows hide, the light is non-existent. And it's getting more and more intense, and that pacing, that back and forth, it's though he's either walking in a circle or he's just pacing from one side of the cave to the other. And then you can hear like him kick a couple of rocks here and there, but he's just pacing and pacing and sounds very agitated, very disturbed, based on what you're hearing.
I could report what he heard. He said you'd hold a finger up to listen to it and then say, sound like it's only him in there. I only hear one set of footsteps, and I think he's muttering to himself. He's saying something like, where the shadows hide, the light is non-existent. Does that mean anything to any of you? Is that a religious phrase? Can I knowledge religion that, or?
Yeah, you absolutely can knowledge religion that.
Not bad.
It doesn't ring any bells, but it does sound like something that a worshiper of Zan Kuthan might say. You've never read it, you've never heard it, but it sounds like something a worshiper of Zan Kuthan might say. They do love their shadows.
Yeah, he won't share this as it's just a hunch at this point, but well. Anyone opposed to heading in?
Ah, lead on, Macduff.
Let's do it.
All right.
As all of you make your way towards the cave, the sound of that pacing, that agitatedness, you get right up to the threshold of the cave entrance. And describe it to you, the cave looks like it was, again, a natural formation. And you can see that there are small little bits of glittering. You can see veins of what look like maybe some ore. There's maybe some silver in here, etc. But it doesn't look like the veins of ore were fully, I guess, mined would be the phrase, would be the statement. So it looks like this place was, for whatever reason, abandoned. And as you enter your way in, I'm actually going to move you over to a different map here. And let me zoom out a little bit for the folks at home. And to describe this cave to you, the ground itself is covered in tiny bits of rubble. And every so often you'll see maybe a pitchfork. You'll see little bits of something glittering. But you also would notice that there are two distinct sets of footprints. One that looks like it's going in, one that looks like it's going out. So the cave entrance itself is about 15, close to 20 feet wide. On the middle section of the 10 feet on the right, the feet go in. On the middle section of the 10 feet on the left, the footprints come out. And they are very distinct and purposeful. Every single step, every single footprint is the same distance from one another. It was a very purposeful march in and a very purposeful march out. But that pacing, that muttering that you were hearing from deeper inside the cave has ceased. I'm going to have everyone make another perception check, please.
Damn.
Oof, I got one better.
27. Damn, Eckhard, you are on fire, my dude.
He's listening.
Eckhard, you would hear what sounds like a very shallow kind of breathing, as though you had your ear up next to someone who was on their deathbed and you were just trying to listen to the last words that they were whispering to you, but it is a very shallow, a very, very low whispering, and you pick up with that 27 perception check. Everyone else would hear that, but Eckhard, because you rolled a 27, you would pick up that you were picking up 4 distinct breaths that you're hearing, and they're all unique in their own way. And then Eckhard starts coughing. You all right? Uh-oh. Did we lose Blau?
No, I just learned how to drink water recently,
Are you
so
alive?
I'm still
Sorry,
getting good at it.
It's my first time, right?
Yeah, I'm still
You
getting
are
good at it.
hearing these very distinct breaths coming from inside, deeper in the cave, and they appear to be coming from straight ahead.
Wolf, I hate to bother you for it again, but my token now doesn't have a health bar when I spawn in.
What? What is
Yeah, I
going on?
had to add this one. I don't know. We can handle it later though. I just wanted to let you know.
What the heck in a handbasket?
You fixed the name, but the no, now I don't have a health bar.
That is so weird. All right, well,
Doesn't
hold
matter.
on. No. We're gonna get it right. HP. There we go. Aha! Fixed it. Dunsky. Got it.
Now you have 2.
Okay. Yeah, let me clear my other bar.
No, I got you. We're saved. All right, let me go over to your guy. Let me edit him. I'm gonna delete the current token. Remove. And we're gonna use selected token. Let me grab that guy right there.
Live guide on Twitch
That's right.
on assigning tokens. To
Yes.
Roleplay.
Super professional Twitch streamer and game master here. Darewolf Gaming 88 on Twitter and Twitch. Don't forget to like and subscribe. No, there it is. All right, moving on.
Don't
So,
forget to like and subscribe.
Again, you are hearing these 4 distinct, and I'm also going to give this to you because, again, that was a good check. There is also a kind of, if you have a door open and it's very breezy outside and you can hear the wind kind of moving past the door, and it makes that almost like a howling sort of noise. Very faint, but there's this kind of howling noise coming from deeper inside the cave that is accompanying this shallow breathing.
All right, Eckhard signs 4 and then down the cave.
And as you
continues.
get to this point, that T intersection, I'm gonna mark that off for you. That T intersection, you guys can move yourselves up to there because I'm gonna reveal something else to you all as you get to that point. So down this pathway, off to the kind of south, we'll call it there, you guys notice what appears to be a body on the ground. Now it's not moving. It doesn't appear to be bloody or bleeding or anything like that. It's not it doesn't appear to have any sort of noticeable wounds, but you would notice that this body off in the corner there, I'm actually going to place a token on it here for you really quick as well. But you would notice that this body appears to be, the skin appears to be pitch black. Just completely pitch black over there. And I'm actually going to do this.
Ven, who has some training from the apostles in silent maneuvers, will tap Eckhard on the shoulder and then gesture towards the corpse.
With a heal check, would I be able to determine any kind of what might do that to a person? Common causes as I
You
get
would
closer?
need to get
Can we move up?
closer to that body.
Am I good to move?
Yeah, absolutely. You can move up to it.
Ven
Alright.
will take this corner and whip his musket out, which is freshly loaded, and cover this direction over here.
What's
I've got my
interesting
bow
is
out.
looking in that direction, you see where there's that edge of darkness?
Hmm?
That edge of darkness, you can't see past it. Even though you have dark vision, you cannot see
I
past
don't.
it.
I'm human.
You're human? Oh, I thought you were something
Oh,
different.
for sure.
Oh no, I'm an Asimar. That's right.
Yeah,
I am an
I was gonna
Asimar.
say, I thought you had dark vision. But you would notice, Brian, that
fool myself
can't-
with my
you
human
can't
passing.
see past that section. It is completely pitch black down there. But Blau, as you get closer to the bodies, I want to describe them to you for a moment. These bodies, they are completely dry. And when I say completely dry, I mean it looks as though all of the moisture was just sucked out of these bodies. And Drubaka, I do see your Darewolf's howl, so somewhere in the distance you also hear a wolf howl to add some ambience. A wolf howls in the distance. But as you get close, Blau, with that heal check, you would notice that these people, these bodies, they're you can't really figure out who they were. Their skin is all pulled taut and tight. And again, it almost looks like they were mummified. But what is more disturbing is that their skin has been turned obsidian black. Just completely black. Their eyes, if you open them slightly, irises, the pupils, everything completely black. It is though their entire bodies were just turned to this black, like just dry leather. And they are all laying on the ground in the same position. So as though they maybe put their hands up to something and then fell forward after whatever happened to them happened. Venavar.
Van is going to take a knee with one shoulder against the wall, just sort of pat at the ground for like a pebble or a rock or something, cast light on it, and toss it down toward what he is assuming now is magical darkness.
You hit that wall where that darkness is, light disappears.
Well, that's not good. Detect magic.
You are detecting magic.
Shocker.
Right?
Never mind. He's not going to speak out loud to say it either way.
You can spellcraft it, see if you know what it is, right?
I
Absolutely.
spellcraft.
You would recognize this as a deeper darkness spell. And then Blau, you've discovered these bodies. There's this strange, they've been completely just drained of all moisture. Their skin's been turned into this tough, kind of almost leathery kind of substance, it seems like. And then their entire body's been turned, pitch black, black obsidian. What do you do with that information, or do you have other questions for me?
Oh, I was going to ask, do I have any idea what might cause those kind of wounds? Would that be a different kind of check, or would that be...
You want to roll a knowledge religion check. See if you might be able to determine what could do this to someone.
What kind of undead does this?
So you are picking up. You're figuring it out. You're starting to think back to some of that, mid-level training, maybe when you were a senior in the Aberdarian school, college. And this seems like somebody that died to a shadow, but the transformation that's supposed to happen when a shadow kills you never took place. It's as though they were completely drained of all their strength, but they never transformed. Instead, they just died and became whatever these husks are.
Eckhard would back up several steps and whisper to the group, shadows could have caused those wounds. No good for us. I don't have the means to fight them right now.
Ven will just lean back, still aiming his gun at the darkness, and be like, deeper darkness.
Need everyone to make a perception check. Actually, I'm not even going to make you make one. So you're watching, and I imagine that Eckhard perhaps has a torch lit since he doesn't have dark vision. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He has a light spell on
Light
his
spell.
buckler.
So you would watch as your light is flowing out from your buckler, and maybe you're moving it around. You can see the bodies, and there is a moment where you pass over the bodies, and then as you turn back, you see nothing at first, and as you pass back, you see that your light hits something, and it is the shadowy outline of, you guessed it, a shadow. And that shadow is just hovering there, just a few inches off the ground, right in the center of those 3 bodies. And it looks like it's just watching you in this moment.
Are shadows very bad?
If you don't have magical weapons,
What if I just have regular magic?
I think that'll do the job. They drain your strength, so watch out.
Then, you're going to hear this. There is a whispered voice. It sounds like Dawkin, but as though someone is speaking through Dawkin. So there's this kind of after voice that is accompanying his voice. What is it like to walk among the living?
Oh. I hate everything about this.
What is
well?
it like to have physical form?
Is anybody else hearing this?
Is anyone else hearing this?
You know what? We're gonna go out to the group. Ven, you were the only one to hear that first question, but as you step back, everyone would hear that second question whispered from the direction that you hear that Dawkin was pacing around.
And that's over here, yeah?
That is correct. Somewhere inside the other room. Or chamber, I should say.
Well, cleric guy, should we engage the shadow?
It's killing citizens. We need to find Dawkin.
And the gun's gonna be useless, I'm hearing. He slides it back over his shoulder.
Yeah, he would speak out loud, magic if you have it. And he steps forward, his hand begins glowing with the holy light of fervor.
Well,
He
then
doesn't draw his pick.
Ven casts magic armor.
Oil wants to act before speaking. And with that, the music changes. And we're going to roll initiative and see what happens.
This shadow just called you out on being murder hobos.
I mean, that's fair.
He's an abomination!
I don't know.
He's surrounded by 3 corpses.
Maybe it was self-defense,
Maybe they
and
should-
maybe
maybe
there
they
will
should have
be
been
3
standing.
more corpses in self-defense.
Maybe they should. Maybe those 3 corpses should have brought their fox friend.
Maybe he just wanted to make some friends. That's all good. And we're gonna see what happens here. So, all right.
You know, Mikhael would have tried to talk to it before, but you know what? They're happy that they're not here, probably.
Right. And pay no attention to this. That random roll.
Yeah, that seems.
That random roll with the gunslinger-like initiative.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Don't worry about it. All right.
And
First
then a
up
Dawkin token and
in
bring
the
in the.
initiative is going to be Eckhard.
Eckhard is going to step forward and attempt to touch attack this shadow with fervor.
Ooh.
So
Roll them bones.
that is a touch attack, but it does provoke, I believe.
Oh boy. So you reach out to touch where the shadow is, and the light playing from your shield as it hits, maybe some stalactites coming down from the ceiling, and it's just kind of dancing around. You swipe with your hand, the holy light glowing in it, and unfortunately you swipe where the shadow isn't. But it does not provoke. Doesn't need to provoke if you cast it before moving. Okay, perfect.
That is true.
Excellent. So it does not get an attack of opportunity. From behind the deeper darkness, you all would hear heavy footfalls as though someone is running. And let's see here. Eeny, meeny, miny, then. What is your flat-footed AC, good sir?
It is 10.
All right.
Oh, wait, no, I cast. Just a second. I cast Mage Armor. Just let me activate it. My flat-footed AC is 14. I mean, not that it matters, but
You take 16 damage as you hear a musket fire, and it strikes you, tearing into your shoulder and ripping apart and some of both your clothing as well as your flesh, and it doesn't feel good. And that same
really?
shadowy voice calls out to you again. But force then, it shall be mine. Shall walk among the living. I shall have form. And Van, it's your turn.
I don't like any of this.
It's all bad. All bad.
Ven will 5-foot step, so he's actually a 5-foot step to here, I think, because then I'm behind cover, hopefully.
Okay.
And I can still shoot. I can still throw magic at the
shadow.
Shadow. I will throw a fireball at him, like a my patented snowballs.
Ooh, solid blow. That is 10 damage. You watch as the snowball strikes where the shadow is, and it actually poofs out, pluming, and gives the shadow a little bit more shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you an extra added effect to where the shadow is a little bit easier to see, because it's now covered in this this kind of like white powdery snow. So Eckhard, I'm going to give you a +2 on your next attack roll for this shadow as well from that. And it does appear to do some damage. It starts to kind of discorporate some, and some of its shadowy bits kind of fall apart. It looks a little bit smaller than it did. But Bix, you're up next.
Get into cover! I just got shot. Actually, I don't think any of us can hear anything because if a musket fired in here, it's just ears ringing.
Yeah, it's mup, mup.
Bix is gonna take a step up and I'm gonna cast. If I do something for a standard action, do I still get an attack?
No.
No.
No, I didn't think so.
Unless you have an attack that uses a move action.
No. Okay. I'm going to cast Gravity Bow on my bow.
I like it. I like it. I like it. And as you cast Gravity Bow on your bow, the shadow reaches out to touch Eckhard. Because you know what? That's what shadows do. And Eckhard, what's your touch AC?
Grand total of 12.
Is it bigger than a nat 1? Probably.
Yes.
All right. That shadow's got too much snow on its face. And wow. Wow. Didn't mean to put a +5.
Confirmed.
That's 2 nat 1s. So Eckhard, you get a free attack of opportunity against it. Because it totally biffed that. It throws itself into your magic.
Free attack opportunity. All right, I'm going to attempt once again to connect, and with that +2, right?
Yes, sir. You got it.
All right, now I was wrong before. My touch attack is +5, not a plus.
Boomski. That's a hit.
Look at this massive damage. Ah! 2
Ah, 2 damage. So you reach into it, and you actually like cast this golden energy, and it tears out. You actually can like grab onto a bit of the shadow and rip it out, and the shadow goes, because it can't actually speak, so it's just like waving its shadow arm, saying nothing. But you know, it looks angry, I guess, as far as the shadow goes. But it is waving its arms wildly and looks a little bit beat up. And with that being said, because I love a good cliffhanger, we actually pivot over back to Varnhold, where it's been about 4 or 5 hours. And Mikhael, you've gotten yourself put back together. You're feeling a little dandy. And I'm curious, what does Mikhael do with their day? What's their plan today?
I had an idea for this. Because I thought it'd be fun if like as they sober up and start like thinking back to last night, maybe they remember a stupid thing they did and we have a flashback to something that I was going to do but I forgot about.
All right, what's the thing that you were going to do but you forgot about, Mikhael?
They were going to try and sneak into the mayor's chambers.
So we watch as Mikhael starts to fox their way over to the mayor's office. And with that in mind, we flip back to the weird shadow cave and continue our battle because I mean, apparently the whole party's gonna get killed today or thrown in jail.
Yeah,
That's where we're at. So
Yep.
good times, everybody. That's fantastic. So we continue with the music. We drag the initiative order back in so everyone at home can see as well. And yeah, we go to the top of the round with Eckhard.
All right. He's gonna attempt to swing at it with his
Damn you, okay.
fervor again,
Damn you.
and roll a 1 himself,
Oh.
and also provoke regardless because it provokes.
Oh, it reaches out and tries to touch you. It wants your bones.
Comedy of
17 touch
errors.
attack.
That's a hit.
Yikes. So you feel this
1.
shadowed cold hand. It's like being plunged into an icy river. It is extremely painful. And this will deal you 5 points of strength damage. Ouch.
Oh,
Ouch.
that's
hurts.
a lot.
That hurts. And with that, it is now Shadow Dawkin. And from the chamber, you would
Pauly
actually...
not in the
Pauly,
initiative?
Go ahead.
Pauly didn't go.
Okay, what does Pauly want to
He's
do?
not in the initiative.
I must not have clicked him when I rolled.
All good, man. I could add him in. What was his initiative?
I'm looking.
7.5.
You just
Point
clicked
over.
on your own token and it updated to policy.
Yeah.
Must have. Okay. Pauly is going to. What size is this guy?
The Shadow?
Yeah.
Does Pauly have magical paws?
He does.
Excellent. Then he can deal damage to it.
Remember, we gave him the
Oh.
claws of shadow.
Ah, oops. Almost like I planned. No, just kidding. So that'll actually deal full damage to the shadow creature, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's convenient. I'm smarter than I thought I was.
All right. Pauly rushes in.
Reaching, as Pauly is wanting to do. That's 18 for 2. That'll play. He tears off with his shadowed claws. He tears off a bit of that shadowy essence, and the thing just wiggles a little bit more as it's writhing in front of the good Eckhard. But we go over, and you hear the heavy footfalls of what you can assume is Dawkin from behind this deeper darkness, and they run away from you. So it sounds like the footsteps are going away. And you hear what sounds like someone opening... What's a good way to describe it? You know that sound you hear when you open like a container where you peel the plastic like part off of like I don't know, cream cheese or something?
Pudding cup?
You know, pudding cup, like that kind of that noise. You hear
Uh-huh.
something very similar to that. And then you start to hear what sounds like cries and moans, multiple voices, and they're all saying the same thing. Where the shadows hide, the light is non-existent.
Oh,
And then you
shit.
hear that shadowy Dawkin voice saying, "We shall have what we crave most. We shall be made flesh. We shall be made corporeal." And yeah, there's like this chorus of voices calling out. Ben, you're up next.
Well, it looks like Eckhard and the Weasel have this shadow handled. And I think that whole... the terrible plan. I think that whole Dawkin thing is really important, so... and,
Sorry, Bix, your weasel's rolling 0d3 damage. So
Oh,
it's not rolling any dice.
yeah.
It's just rolling its modifier.
It should have extra damage there. 1d3.
Okay. Let me fix that attack.
And I'm going to add 2 damage
Oh,
in there.
you're right. It does say
I'm gonna add 2 damage
0d3.
in there as well. So the shadow looks like it's about to discorporate, which is good news for Eckhard. Cool.
Thanks for catching that.
Problem.
Fenn's gonna run into the darkness.
God bless you, Ben.
Of course he is.
God's bless you. All right, so you are gonna get. How are you running in a straight line? Are you? Where are you running to? Is my question.
Well, so he'll be running, so I'm gonna get more movement after this. But theoretically, I want to run to like here, and then, yeah, theoretically run like into. What I'm hoping is that this darkness has got like a border.
Yeah.
So if I'm here and it's like a 20 foot, then I'm gonna keep running forward the 30 feet to like here.
Yeah.
Hoping that I'll get to the other side of the darkness.
I'm gonna reveal a bit to you here in just a moment because, as fate would have it,
It also does a point of strength damage.
if the shadow had strength, it absolutely would.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pivot up to here real quick, and this is what you see. This is what you see, Ven, as you pass that shadowy wall. You enter into a large chamber, and with your dark sight, you can see that there are 4 shadowy rifts. And on the other side of these rifts, you can see an innumerable number of these shadowy forms that are trying to claw their way through, but appear that they're hitting like cellophane. They're not able to push past these thresholds. But up there, you see Dawkin, and his hands look to be. You can just kind of make out his hands as he's like clawing away at this like cellophane, and you can see these shadowy hands starting to kind of push their way through this rift and actually start to cut away at the cellophane kind of covering over it. And you notice that his hands look like they've become slightly darkened, not completely black, but slightly darkened in this moment.
Not have anything to help me with this. This is not what this guy is designed for.
This is fine.
So I think this is my 30. Like I've now moved double my movement.
You have
Which is
more
a run.
movement because you were here. You moved to there. You've got 5 more feet of movement.
Ven is going to drop into a baseball slide to like be prone, so that if I guess, does Dawkin still have a musket in his hand?
The musket is actually on the ground right by this rock that you're next to.
All right, perfect, cool. He's not going to shoot me again.
That.
In which case, can I spend a hero point to essentially bull rush to tackle him?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So then that's what Ven's gonna do. Is try to tackle him. Like, no, Dawkin, no, this is not what you're about, dude.
No, bro. Starts screaming in
He
Draconic
yells in
at him.
Draconic. Yeah.
Bro, no, don't do it, bro.
Don't do it.
All
All right. What do you want me to roll for that? Is that
It's combat maneuver. Combat maneuver bonus. Good luck. So, I'm going to describe this to you. So, you slide tackle yourself to the ground. You then take off at a run. And as you take off at a run, you go to slam into his back and you connect, and it is like running into a brick wall. He does not budge. In fact, as you hit him, you can feel that he is deathly cold in this moment, and you get a full glimpse of him, and you see that his face has become darker and kind of sunken, and his skin looks very dry, and he is like clawing at this cellophane, this kind of like shadowy portal he's trying to rip open. And yeah, that's your turn, buddy.
It sure is. That was
Bix,
also
you're
my
up
one
next.
hero point.
That's all right. We'll see what happens.
Bix is gonna fire at the shadow.
Okay.
I'm going to do multi-attack, and my gravity bow adds. So it just ups the damage die.
Mhm.
Okay. Attacks. So that would be 2d6. Okay, rapid shot.
So the 19 would hit. Is your bow magical? You did cast gravity bow on it, correct?
It is not.
It is not. So the arrow would unfortunately pass right through the shadow. And it was definitely a hit, but it does no damage, unfortunately.
Yep, I figured.
Anything else, Bix?
Nope.
Pauly the Weasel.
All right. Now that I have his claws up, they actually do. It's actually 2 attacks, and it does strength damage. So...
Hey, Ben, give us a quick perception check, please.
Oh, sure.
Looks like Pauly's doing all right.
Oh, good news. Pauly tears into this thing. His claws, because of those shadow claws, are able to latch onto the shadow. And if you've ever seen a weasel just jump on something and tear it apart, that's what happens to the shadow. You just watch these shadowy bits just get torn apart, and the shadow's like, and then just dissipates into nothingness and is defeated, completely defeated. And we are now back at the top of the turn with Eckhard Gerst.
Eckhard's gonna start running to the direction from where he heard the musket shot earlier. That's as far as he can go.
Okay. Shadow Dawkin stops the clawing. You see some of these shadowy hands are like they're reaching through bars, is what you're seeing. They're like reaching through bars, and as they reach through bars, he turns to you. And with that perception check, you notice that there is what appears to be a topaz hanging from a necklace around his neck. But the topaz is tinted more of a black color, and there's these kind of like shadowy wisps of energy floating around this topaz around his neck. And as he looks down at you, he again, with this voice that is both his but not his, says, "Would you not envy what you have, were you simply made? We shall be given form." And he lunges at you to like start to strangle you, and he's gonna make a combat maneuver check to attempt to grapple you. What is your CMD?
It's 12. So
Ouch.
you know.
So he grapples onto you, and as he does so, you feel these. It is his hands around your neck, but you also feel this kind of shadowy essence, and you see that it appears to be emanating from this topaz gem. It's almost like webs of this shadowy energy are like shimmering out from it, and they are climbing down his hands as he grabs onto your neck and begins to strangle you. And you're going to take some strength damage. Wow, 6 strength damage. Super sorry, Brian. Super my bad. But that is his whole turn. And the shadowy, these cries, these, "We shall be given form, we desire flesh and bone." These cries are starting to fill the entire chamber. It's getting louder and louder and louder and more intense, more and more intense. And it's hard to even hear yourselves think. But it's now Ven's turn.
Well, I was going to use Icicle Dagger because I get to make it like a fire dagger, and it seemed like a cool, like, oh, I'm really close now and I'll stab this guy. But now I have absolutely 0 chance of hitting him because I have a -4 to my strength. So
This is fun.
instead of that, Ven is going to, in desperation, use Burning Hands.
All right. You are currently being grappled, so make a concentration check to cast a spell. Which I believe is, what, 15 plus the
Grappler's CMD, I think.
CMD, or is it just the Grappler's CMD?
I think it's plus something plus the Grappler CMD.
I think it's like CMD plus spell level or something. I can look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Also, you can't do Burning Hands technically because you grappled, then you can only guess things with verbal components. I think. It's 10 plus CMB plus the level of the spell you're cast.
Well, here's the good news. I'm going to let you cast something else if you want to, or do something else as well. And what would you like to do? Because it seems like that spell's probably not going to work in this moment.
I might be misremembering that.
I think you might be able to use verbal spells without that check because you don't need to
He can.
gesture.
He can use verbal spells. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Be a great time to cut away from this scene and go back to Mikhael, but I'm not going to. I want to see what happens.
All right. Well, in which case, fuck that. I'll elemental ray him and
Okay.
just shoot him
Okay.
with fire. It's not a spell.
I think I made a mistake. It was it was pinned. If you're pinned, you can't use somatic components.
Okay.
So he's only grapples. He can use burning hands.
Okay. Unfortunately, the Burning Hand spell would not go off with that caster level check. Unfortunately,
Okay,
it would not
just,
go off. It did not beat the CMD.
Correcting myself.
So Dawkins continues to try and strangle. the
Wait.
good venom.
Am I now not gonna get to cast?
No, you can
Elemental
cast.
Ray?
You can cast the other spell if you'd like. If you want to cast that Elemental Ray, I'm fine with that. Absolutely.
Oh
All right.
my god.
So it goes wide. Unfortunately, you're struggling because he's got his hands. He's starting to try and pin you. He's strangling the life out of you, and you go to cast a spell, and it actually strikes the near where the portal is, and it strikes the portal. One of the hands that's reaching through actually hisses, and it recoils back. And you watch as that shadowy gem, that shadowy topaz around his neck seems to flitter for a moment, and the hands around your neck loosen for just a second, and then double down on what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But Bix, you're up next.
All right.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
We're grappled, right? So can I make them? Can I use? Because do I only get a standard? Like, can I use my move action to try and establish control of the grapple? Is that how that works?
So establishing control of a grapple is a standard action.
Is the standard? Okay. And I can't move us because I'm not in control of the grapple.
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
Great question.
I guess Bix will move over there, and that's a full movement for him.
Okay. Perfect.
So.
And you see this scene before you. Pauly the Weasel.
Okay. 20. Oh, not the body, Pauly the Weasel. $10, $15, $20, $25, $30, $35, $55, $60,
Oh boy.
$65, $70.
Oh boy. Cut to a scene of Mikhael just meandering through town, people waving, "Hey, great party last night, man. That was amazing. Yeah, good job. Hey, let us know when the next Rager is." And they're all just, having a good time. And honestly, Mikhael, the town's mood drastically improved since the party last night. Like, everyone seems to, they're a little hungover, their head hurts, but everyone's looking
So
after
great.
each other, everyone's helping each other.
I'm so happy.
And you're getting close to the mayor's manor. You are getting close to the mayor's
And
manor.
if it's any consolation, I probably wouldn't be much help in this fight. So
That's all right. It's some consolation. Eckhard Gerst, you're up next.
+2. Okay, hold on. He's gonna do a charge.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
How is he charging? Because he had to move around the corner. He did not have line of sight to the person. Are you gonna
I
spend?
ordered him there.
Oh. Are you gonna spend?
said,
Are you gonna spend a hero point
attack.
for him to be able to move that additional speed?
Attack. No, he got a 120 move.
Oh!
The full.
Oh,
Full run.
okay. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
You're good. All right, fair enough. Go for it.
But it's just a. Yeah.
Ooh, that's max damage. 21 for 5. Nicely done.
Now he has to make a fort save. The spell says it's against the spell DC, but I don't. Yeah, he made it.
I need you to roll me. I need you to roll me a D100. You want to roll under 20. Never mind. All right. Next up is Shadow Dawkin, who is going to actually release Ven and is going to pivot to the weasel and will reach down and attempt to choke out the weasel. Because apparently that's his MO right now. So I've got him rolling his attack here in just a moment. What's Pauly's CMD?
Is 16.
So he grabs onto Pauly, and Pauly takes 1 point of strength damage. That could have been better, but he's now currently grappling Pauly right now in this moment. Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy. All right.
I think I got skipped.
Did you?
It went to
Oh, that's
from
weird.
Pauly to Dawkin.
Eckhard, you're up next. Forgive me.
I'm just running.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. You see the scene before you, and give us a knowledge religion check on these.
I know things.
You know that you're seeing about 20 to 30 shadows that are trying to claw their ways through each of these black rifts. Now give us a knowledge of the planes if you've got it.
I don't have that. It's not a war priest skill. However, that is also wrong. It's like 3 lower than that. I don't know why it's rolling that high.
That's okay. That's still pretty good. And I'm gonna give this to you. You're gonna recognize that on the other side of these little rifts, that's the plane of shadow. Straight up the plane of shadow. It's waving at you. It winks at you, actually. And with that, we're now to Ven.
And Ven is no longer being grappled?
You are no longer being grappled.
Well, Ven is in some real strength trouble, sort of wavering on his legs here. But oops. Oh, whatever. Now he casts Burning Hands.
All right, do it up.
Is he good? 5 foot step away first, or
No.
no? Okay, just checking.
So, 1d4 DC 15 reflex save, and then 3d4 of fire damage.
All right.
Man, this seemed like a better idea when I first thought of it.
You are going to
Wow,
provoke.
Dawkin is on fire. He is taking half that, so he takes 3 damage as it singes his coattails.
Wow.
And Blau, looking to the left, you would see 2 additional shadows weasel their way through the rifts that are open. They've managed to find a cut or a sliver through the shadows and push their ways out. They have now entered into the fight as well.
Wait, does hurting the portal let
Hold on,
shadows through?
Hold on one second. And I need you to roll me a 1d100 and let's see if it's under a 20%. Wow. Okay, good news. Good news, everybody. So, here's what happens. You cast the Burning Hands. It strikes Dawkin, and as it does so, it actually, coils up and kind of travels up his coattail, and it nicks the chain, the little thread that is holding the necklace onto him, and it snaps, and the necklace falls to the ground. As it falls to the ground, there is a clinking and then a wailing noise that fills the entire chamber as all of these rifts start to kind of waver and shift and change and start to kind of seal up. And if you remember, I mentioned that's like ripping off the plastic container. Imagine you were sealing something up. You ever vacuum sealed something? That is the sound that you're starting to hear, that kind of noise. And the 2 shadows that just stepped out are pulled back into it. And Dawkin collapses to the ground, his skin starting to turn its natural kind of color. And the last thing you hear is that shadowy voice as the shadow that seems like it was inhabiting Dawkin is torn away from him and sucked into that portal behind him, and it simply screams, "I shall have what I desire," and is sucked into the portal. And with that, the room goes quiet.
Then turns to Eckhard and goes, "See, piece of cake," and then passes out.
Classic Ven.
Pauly calls fetch, or Ben or bleh, Bix yells fetch at the necklace.
Pauly gets up to the necklace, sniffs it, and refuses to grab it.
Smart weasel.
All right, let's scope this thing out.
I have an effective strength of 2, and I'm down to 10 hit points. I'm like,
You're fine. Mostly. Probably not. You'll be all right. Eventually. We don't know. We'll
Sure.
find out.
we'll find out.
It's probably nothing, right? So
Probably.
you're all gathering around this gem. And remind me, Mikhael, did you describe the topaz that you had found? Okay. So this topaz...
To Eckhard and
Eckhard
Bix.
looks like what Mikhael had described to you, but it was described as this very vibrant, this very, yellow topaz. And this one appears to be a black, kind of darkened inside. So there's this kind of swirling smokiness in the center of it. It appears to be dissipating slowly, but there's a slight swirling smokiness inside the center.
Remind me what he said to Eckhard. Was it just keep an eye out for this thing, or?
I said that it's a very important item and that he shouldn't have it. And I think I left it at that.
That who shouldn't have it?
That the shadow figure shouldn't have it.
Okay. Well, we got it back now. Eckhard's gonna walk up to Dawkin and detect magic on his. You said he was unconscious?
Unconscious in this moment, yes.
Yep. He's gonna detect magic on him, and if he has any magical auras, if they're emanating from items, pull them off of him so he can get to what is actually emanating from his body.
So you are picking up just a couple magical items. He has a magic belt. He has a magic ring. He has some magical items on him. As you get those off, so you can focus on the aura. He himself is not emanating any magical auras in this moment.
Excellent. Then he put him back in whatever backpack Dawkin has.
Excellent. And as silence fills the chamber for a few moments, what do you guys do?
Eckhard's gonna look around and see if there's anything of note in here that would have drawn him here in particular.
So, perception check as you search the chamber. The only thing you find is what looks to be a kind of nest over in the far corner here. And that nest looks like, at one point, it could have held a rather large egg or a sack of some kind. And in fact, if you take your time, you would actually find numerous little what look like shell, like bits of shell, but the shell themselves are crumpled and crushed around, but they are all black, and it looks kind of like obsidian. There's still that obsidianness to it. So it is as though something maybe burst out and the shell casing went everywhere around.
The others are slightly better than mine was.
Bix, you would actually find something else as well. And you would find some carvings. You would find some carvings on the wall. And if you recall the Book of Shadows, it was written in that strange foreign language. There are numerous etchings that appear to have been slightly smeared, as though they were maybe like someone tried to wipe them away, but there are numerous etchings in this little side chamber where that nest is, that appear to have been wiped away or maybe like chiseled out of the wall at one point.
Okay, I'll point it out to everyone else. Then I'm gonna go over to Dawkin and check him over, do like a see how he's doing, kind of thing.
He is unconscious, dehydrated, and appears to be suffering from strength drain, damage,
Okay.
as it were. So he looks pretty weak in this moment.
All right. I will do another cure light on him.
Mhm.
Eckhard will collect a
Uh,
charcoal rubbing of those, of the carving.
You would actually recognize some of the carvings, some of the they look very similar to what you saw in that Book of Shadows. Like the brief moment you looked at it, they look really familiar.
Like I said, he'd collect rubbings of any of them that he could find. With he has both charcoal and paper. So
Perfect. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna pivot as you guys all kind of get together, check on Dawkin, and eventually Dawkin does wake up. But before he wakes up, I'd like to pivot back to Varnhold, where a certain business person is traveling northward towards the upper ward,
Yeah,
where the mayor's manor is located.
I think there was a misunderstanding. See,
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna do a flashback.
Oh, you're doing a
Or-
flashback. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay,
if you
okay.
don't want to do like
No,
timey wimey stuff,
absolutely. No, please. Creative license.
because my thought is, first of all, the guy would be just a little bit tipsy at that point,
Okay.
uh, less inhibitions,
Okay.
and at that point, that also told all the guards at the manor that there's free alcohol, so I'm expecting them to be a bit tipsy as well,
Okay.
which might help with sneaking in.
Yeah. So I need you to roll a D100 and tell me high or low.
Hi.
Fantastic. So you, as you recall back, so Mikhael's sitting in the clumsy bear, head kind of throbbing, but you're remembering like, wait, I did something stupid last night. And then we kind
Yes.
of flash back to Mikhael doing something stupid last night. And Mikhael, you manage to make your way to the mayor's manor. You manage to find a window that is not locked. You manage to, as quietly as you think you can, slide that window open. And as we cut to a scene of you half falling, half gracefully climbing in through this window, I'm going to move you over to this map. We're going to center yourself right there. We're going to let the map load in. And you find yourself inside of the mayor's manor. And I'm curious, what does Mikhael do inside the manor?
Very good question. The map is a little bit blurry for me at the moment, but I'm sure it will load quickly. So
No,
at this point,
that's by design because Mikhael's super drunk. It's fine.
that actually makes sense. But no, they would be in like tiny fox form at this point because it makes them sneakier.
Okay.
And they would begin looking for the mayor's chambers while sneaking around.
Give us a perception check at a -5.
Hell yeah. 12.
So you can't find the stairs. They're right in front of you, but you're bumbling around. And I need you to roll me a D100 and tell me high or low.
Normally I would always go for high, but since I'm drunk, I'm gonna alternate it. So low this time.
As the fox is bumbling around downstairs, the fox bumps into the table. You hear this whoop, 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 whoop. And as the fox looks up at the table, you see a vase is just wobbling ever so slightly. I need you to roll us a reflex save at a -5.
Oh, being drunk is very, very disabling.
What does the fox say? That is a 12 again, or 13? 13?
13.
Well, 15 was the DC. The vase falls. The fox goes to reach out its little fox claws, and there is a loud from upstairs. You hear movement. You hear footsteps. What the hell was that? It is the mayor. And you also hear a couple of other voices. Someone's inside, downstairs. Your arms. Gather your arms. arm yourselves, and heavy footfalls begin to make their way towards the stairwell.
Yeah, don't wait for any of that to happen. As soon as the vase falls, I'm leaving.
Cool. I need you to roll. I need you to roll a reflex save to get out the window.
All right.
I need you to roll me high or low. D100. This is very
It was
important.
Called low last time, so high this time.
It's gonna be low. Oh, lucky devil! You managed to bumble your way out the door right as someone says, "It's a goddamn fox," and they go to swipe at you, and they just barely hit the edge of your tail, and you're missing just a tiny little poof of fur on the edge of your tail that you would recognize in the morning. But that is the flashbacks of Mikhael causing shenanigans during the evening, and we're gonna pivot back to the Shadowed Cave. And as we pivot back to the Shadowed Cave, what's everybody doing in here? What's the battle plan?
Assuming we can't find any more rubbings with a more thorough search of the place, more anything related to the book. I think we'd load up and get out of here. Probably put Vin and Dawkin on the horse because they're mostly messed up.
Dawkin has awoken, and he is very disoriented for a few moments, but starts to regain his faculties. And he says, where the hell are we? What happened?
You were possessed.
I remember it was a cold feeling, and it was hungry. It was so hungry for this. And he kind of like touches the back of his hand and slides it up his arm. Those things, those shadows, they envy what we have. They envy our physical. And he starts to actually have a little bit of a panic attack at this moment. Now, go ahead and make a heal check, Eckhard. I want to see if you can pick up on his emotional state. Yeah, he's having a little bit of a panic attack in this moment. And, if you say some calming words to him, you can get him to settle down. But he's been through a pretty traumatic experience in these last moments.
Put his hand on his shoulder and say, "Calm down. We're still ahead of it now. We caught up to you in time."
Ven wanders over with Dawkin's gun, still leaning heavily on his staff. He's got Dawkin's musket that is dropped on the ground. He's like, "Hey, I checked her over. She looks like she's in pretty decent shape, but you may want to give her a once over yourself." And he hands him back his gun as gently as one would hand over like a baby from one.
Sure. He gently takes it, nods his head and thanks, and uses it to slowly and wobbly get to his feet. But unless there's any other conversation, the 5 of you are able to make your way out of the cave and travel back towards the city. And as we get back to the city, move this up. Mikhael, you are still at the Clumsy Bear, and this would have been pretty much a majority of the day you would have traveled to get there. It'd be closer to the evening time. So I'm curious as to, as you all return to town, are you going to take the evening to rest? Do you have any errands you'd like to run? What's the plan?
On our way back, Ven will have asked Eckhard if he thinks maybe that the Abadarians will heal his strength damage, since he got hurt in the service of the town.
I think they'll do it on the Queen's pocketbook.
Oh, excellent. Well, in which case, are you cool if I head to the mint, maybe pick up some healing?
I'm headed there with you.
Maybe. Cool. Yeah, maybe I'll visit my sister real quick while we're there.
I like it.
Pauly got tapped for 1, didn't he?
Yeah, 1 strength damage.
Okay.
Other than remembering my flashback, I would have gone to the library to do research on the Book of Shadows.
I like that. Let's have you roll a knowledge. What knowledges do you have, Mikhael? There's the
See, I imagine this is Arcana, and I'm not good at Arcana.
Okay.
So I mean, my plan is
It's actually
to.
knowledge the planes.
I also don't have that.
Fantastic.
My plan is to get a librarian to help me. I know it's crazy, but you know, librarians actually know where to find specific books and stuff. So I'd ask one nicely.
There's a very old gnome named
Norm.
it's a very old gnome, a Lenorum. Yeah, it's a very old dragon type thing. No, it's a very old gnome, and he's starting to have the bleaching a little bit, but it's not bad. He's just got little spotted marks on him, but he's got his glasses down on the edge of his nose. And he's like, "Next, what books are you looking for? How can I help?"
Hello there. I am looking for books on something called the Book of Shadows. Do you have anything on that?
So you want something about the plane of shadows? Did I hear you right?
Well, it is called the Book of Shadows. I suppose it might be related.
We have no books of shadows here.
No, you see, there is a thing called the Book of Shadows, and I want a book telling me about that book.
So you want
Books
a
are
book about
fun.
shadows, like light and things of that nature?
No, a book
Speak
about.
clearly, man!
I would like a book that is about the Book of Shadows.
The librarian is going to direct you to the section of the library that revolves around information about different planes of existence. Specifically,
I'll go to the shadow plane section. I don't. Yeah,
it's a very
yeah.
small section. So imagine like these stacks, these rows of books. There's about 4 books about the plane of shadows. And what's interesting is you see there's like volume 1, 2, volume 3 is missing, and there's a volume 4.
All right.
And I'm going to have you roll a knowledge the planes check with a +5, and you can roll it untrained.
Nice. 12.
You get through the first book. Well, the plane of shadows is terrible, but no mention of the Book of Shadows. You do not find any information about the Book of Shadows during this first foray into the library.
Can I tell, like, you said there's four books
of
the same thing. Yeah.
Correct.
And like, are they in order of something?
They're like
is
volumes. Yeah. Like different volumes.
So
volume 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and volume 3 is missing.
Can I tell what volume 3 would be about?
You know what? I have you roll for it. Give me just an intelligence check.
All right.
You know what? The plane of shadows is confusing and scary. You have no
What are planes? I don't know.
But you know what's not confusing and scary? The Mint. So we're gonna pivot over to the Mint because that's a place that exists, and we're gonna have we got everyone there except for the people that are not. So Bix, would you have gone to the Mint as well, Bix and Pauly, or would you guys head back to the Clumsy Bear?
Yeah, we would have gone to the Mint if because I got to get Pauly his strength back.
Excellent. And
I think he'll get it back from a night's rest, and in 1 strength damage doesn't do anything.
He would get it back from a night's rest if he wants to.
Okay, then we can.
But you guys, you're welcome to come too. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, no one
Yeah,
said
it's
you can't
fine.
come.
So as you get there, the young acolyte Sarah, super excited to see you. And she's going on and on, Eckhard, about some of the conversations she's been having with Odafi, and how she's simply just a fascinating person. And she wonders when they'll be allowed to let her out of and she says dungeon, then stops herself and says room, and just goes on and on about how she's just like super cool and really likes her. And, that's that. Also, she mentions that Jennifer is doing okay but that's a very passing remark about Jennifer. She's doing okay.
Yeah.
A little bit rough around the edges, and she says that with a bit of a prissy tone as well as she says that.
And he'll inquire about the status of his project with the census and all that going on. And
So the final count is almost done. They've got another about 10% of the city to census, I guess would be the phrase. And at this point, roughly 15% of the town was slain during that. So it's a rather large number of people, but they're actually finding some survivors that were still hiding out in their homes. Some people actually fled when everything started to happen, and some people are returning to town. So the numbers actually are getting better than you originally first thought, which is good.
excellent. Good work, Sarah. We'll move on to the second stage and organizing groups to help those who've lost people next.
Excellent. And then I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that a certain person wanted to meet with Odafi. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ven.
Yeah, I wanna just have it, it's like visiting hours. She's my sister. Just want to make sure she's okay. See how they're treating her.
So you are led downstairs by some of the acolytes, and they state, you can enter in. They check you over for any, items that aren't allowed inside, weapons, things like that. She is a political prisoner. I mean, it is what it is. He can't do it.
Ven looks inside the vault and he's like, guys, I really have a problem with like tight spaces. Is there a room that's just like a little bit bigger? Listen, you have my word that I won't cast any magic because I know that's what I feel pretty comfortable that I can give Odafi's commitment not to use any of her magics either. But I can't go in there, but I really do want to see her. Is there like another place? Like you guys could watch us or something?
The two acolytes look at each other. Give us a diplomacy check.
Cool, I just put a point in that.
That's probably not a bad idea. That's a pretty good roll. So the two acolytes look at each other, and then they look at you, and then the one is like, the high priestess wouldn't like this, and the other one's like, I mean, they're family. I mean, like when your sister was sick and the high priestess let you go, and it was a thing, and he's like, you're right. And so they so she was actually being held in one of these small chambers down on the bottom, and they're actually going to let you go into the larger chamber, which is over to the right hand side here. And so they open the door, they let you inside, they close the door behind you, and then you step inside. Now, Odafi, in this moment, she seems very calm, and I would say disgustingly calm. Would be the phrase of choice that I would say. She's disgustingly calm in this moment. And as you enter in, she gives you a little curt smile. So how fare things outside of these mince walls?
Wow. I mean, things are going all right. You remember that you and I had a conversation the last time, and how I told you that you just needed to bear with it, and that that I'm sure that eventually you would be released. Well, that's the same advice I would offer you now. And because I know that sometimes you have trouble remembering things, Odafi, I wrote it down for you. And then we'll pull out a scroll and be like, on this piece of parchment that you can read to yourself, and maybe think of me. Think of me while you read it to yourself. And then I've actually written the same statement on another piece of parchment, and I pull out another scroll, and I'm like, and I'll read this one, and I'll think of you, and then that way maybe we can we can feel like each other are around.
Odafi looks at you with a very understanding, like she gets what you're laying down. And then she whispers to you, you do understand that this will likely irreparably turn us against the queen and her. And she says it with a kind of almost a venom. Counsel.
Well, see, I have this theory that if I tell them that you charmed me or something, maybe I can keep over here. But I mean, let's be honest, they're making me work as a political prisoner. They're pretty much making me work as a prisoner anyway, so not any happier about where my status than your status, and I promised you I'd get you out. So
She takes a step forward, and there's a kind of sultriness to this step forward, and she very gently places a hand on your forearm, and there's just kind of like this light touch as she does so. I couldn't ask for a better friend and companion. Thank you, Ven. Thank you.
hey, we former apostles got to stick together. There aren't a lot of us.
Roll me a will save.
Oh, that's not good.
Cool. She asks you a question, Ven, and you feel very compelled to answer it honestly.
Oh, all right.
My friend, my companion, where are they keeping the Book of Shadows?
As far as I know, it's in the vault.
Which vault?
They didn't tell me a lot about it. Just one of them.
And as she does
The
so,
one,
you feel
whatever
her
one's
hand
underneath
kind
the
of
room that we were.
like slide up your arm and kind of come up to your shoulder, and she gets even closer to you.
Don't
in
like this at all.
And then she says, "Very well. Shall we commence with this charade?"
All right, let's do it.
And you watch as Odafi transforms and starts to look like Ven, and Ven transforms and starts to look like Odafi, as I believe it was a disguise person spell that you were using. Is that correct?
Yep.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And she kind of checks herself over, looking like you, and she looks at you, and she actually reaches out and takes the bit of hair that had fallen in front of your face and like pushes it behind your ear and says, "That looks better." And she looks around. "So shall I exit first?"
Yeah, you better, because once they put me in that a magic-proof room, I'm gonna resume my original shape.
Okay. And as the two of you move forward, she looks to you to make the announcement, because the disguised person doesn't change her voice; it only changes her appearance. So she offers you.
Yeah, so I'll bang on the door and be like, "Okay, I think we're done."
Yep. And a few moments pass, the door opens, and you see two acolytes standing there. They're Abadarian robes, their little holy symbols, and they look around. And we watch as Odafi, disguised as Ven, nods his head, their head, and takes a step forward, gets to right here, looks back as the two acolytes step into the chamber that you're inside. And as they step into the chamber to grab Odafi or escort her out, Odafi slams the door shut and locks it, leaving the two of you, two of them and you inside. Both of them turn around and go, "What the hell is going on?" And that is where we will pivot upstairs to what's everyone else doing at this moment.
I assume we're waiting for a cleric, another cleric, to be able to cast, lesser restoration on us.
And you do have a cleric that will cast Lesser Restoration on you. One of the lower clerics, not quite as powerful as you, but they'll cast that restoration. And everyone's going to get one. So that's going to be Eckhard. Actually, Eckhard will get two. He'll get two. That'll get you back to full. And this one will be for Pauly. Pauly gets his one back. There we go. That's perfect.
You get minis.
Could that have happened before the?
Oh, absolutely.
Before the meeting.
Absolutely. And you also get one back, Ven. Congratulations. And
How useless.
that's where you're at. That's okay. It's better than nothing, right? It's better than nothing. And with that being said, I need everyone to roll a perception check here as you guys are upstairs.
Am I still at the library?
You would still be at the library, yes.
All right.
You said perception?
Yeah, so that would be Bix, Pauly, and Eckhard. Roll perception.
Eckhard is going to spend a hero point on this to get a +8 if this is to notice. Then
Oh, wow. Bix. You hear
26.
a faint banging. Below Eckhard, you also hear a faint banging, and you hear the voices of what sounds like someone behind a vault door banging that they are trapped from down in the basement.
Bix looks up. Bix and Pauly both look up. Do you hear that?
yeah, come with me.
Oh, what the fuck did he do? All right, let's go.
Eckhard will
And
use
go ahead
his.
and move
Presumably he
yourselves
has keys.
down to this level. And I will grab. Let's see here. Oh boy.
Ven is standing here doing his best, like innocent Odify, like,
Oh, what's going on? What's
Oh.
happening?
oh no, very carefully not saying anything, just oh.
And let's do this. Let me grab. We're gonna get some acolytes in here. So we got some tokens for the acolytes. They're banging on the door. And as Bix and Pauly get to the base of the stairs, Eckhard gets to the base of the stairs as well. Two things you would notice. The doorway to this appears to have been locked and barred, which is not uncommon, but you're hearing the banging from behind. And this doorway to the left is slightly ajar. Still a door, but also ajar. And then the doorway inside is slightly ajar as well. So, and that leads to the one of the other vaults where certain things are kept, including a certain Book of Shadows is being kept currently.
I can't
Eckhard
believe
would
she
need-
bailed on me.
Bix, as quietly as he can, looks over at Eckhard. Which one are we gonna go to first?
Left, it's the book.
All right, let's do it.
And he'd storm around
Uh,
the corner.
Be good. Be ready, Pauly.
Looking around the corner, Eckhard, as you push the door slightly open, you would see none other than Ven reaching out. Not actually reaching out, but you see Ven holding on to that book and actually has the book open and is speaking in this foreign language, this unknown language, and you see
immediate
dark
charge.
wisps. Immediate charge. Brilliant. So we're gonna go ahead and actually roll initiative in this moment, and it is about to get wild.
Well, shit.
This is going so well. All right, and I
Oh.
need everyone to roll initiative here.
Let me re-roll that. Nope.
And then just go ahead and roll in your own token. We're just gonna know that you're actually Odify in this moment. And then the two acolytes. Okay. I have some parchment for that. That's a great joke, Kura. Thank you. I appreciate it, dude. That is fantastic. All right, and beautiful. So first up in the initiative
Hold on,
is
I'm getting Pauly.
Ven, was that your? Did you roll on Odify's initiative, or did you roll on your initiative?
I rolled on both.
Okay. Because I can't remember what I rolled for Odif. For Odif.
You rolled an 18.
18. All right, so she did have a better initiative. All right, let me get her in there. So Ven, you are gonna be Odify in this moment. I'm just gonna make you okay. Or actually, no. Odify's gonna be Odify. That's
Yeah,
Odify.
I'm
And you're
the Odify token.
It's just she's the Odify token. Okay. Pauly is you're actually gonna get a surprise round. I'm gonna let you act first, Eckhard. So you're gonna get a chance to charge. Go ahead and roll that.
Okay. Trying to decide if he would try and charge to get a CMD, or if he would try to charge to get like a bull rush, or if he'd try to charge to whack his brain in.
Great question.
This is a betrayal. He's gonna try and whack his brain in.
Okay, I like it.
18 to hit for 6
18,
damage.
And that is a hit on Odify for 6 damage. Perfect. So you strike the back, and as you strike the back of what you think is Ven. You watch as the image before you, this Ven, seems to shake and waver. And I'm just going to go ahead for simplicity's sake, and you see that it is not Ven, but is Odify. And remind me what weapon you're wielding.
The pick.
Pick. So you bury that pick into her shoulder, and she cries out in pain. As she cries out in pain, you see that there is this shadowy, like, images, these, like, words are floating up and off the book's page. And there is this shadowy kind of, like, almost gauntlet that has appeared around her hand. And she screams, "No, stop, you don't understand." But that's probably not going to do anything, because it's Pauly's turn.
Bix says, Pauly, book, fetch.
Pauly charges forward to grab the book.
Yeah. I guess that would be, a grapple, maybe?
It's a disarm.
It's actually a disarm.
It would be a disarm or a steal maneuver, yeah.
Yeah, so CMB, excuse me.
CMB.
Pauly, just like a leaps, tackles the book, falls out of her hand, the shadowy gauntlet is torn off, and just tackles the book to the ground, like on the table up there with a couple of gold bars, and has it in his mouth, and just hisses with it in his mouth, but he has stolen the book from Odify's hands. Yes, he has. Brilliant.
Good boy.
Yeah, next up is Ven.
Still attempting to be the best Odify he can be.
Mhm.
While they're banging on the door, he's going to start checking these doors.
Yeah, those doors open to a closet. There's some cleaning supplies in there.
What about these doors?
Those doors open to a hallway that appear to exit. But they are locked.
He does his best. He does his best Odify. Like, what about these doors?
The acolytes look away. They're locked and barred from the outside. We can't get through there. Somebody let us out! Bang, 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 bang.
Okay.
Acolytes bang. Eckhard Gerst, you're up next.
Eckhard shouts at the top of his lungs, "Abadarians to arms! The vault's been breached!"
And you hear a bunch of shouts to arms and a couple of other clerics and people coming downstairs. Oh, this is so exciting.
Seeing that the book is now no longer in her possession, he's going to attempt to a grapple.
All right.
What if you had one job? You had one job.
And she's unarmed, but so I don't think she'd get an attack of opportunity on him.
Yeah, you're right.
20 plus 4. 21 to grapple.
That'll play.
All right.
And as you grab onto her, she continues to struggle and push back against you. She says, no, you don't understand. He wants it. He wants it. He's gonna get it. We have to get rid of it. We have to send it back. No, you don't understand. She just screams and screams and screams.
That's not how this works.
And, next up is Odify. And now, you have to remind me, so it's a concentration check to cast a spell that has semantic components, and it's...
If you're grappled, it's a concentration check, which is DC 10, plus the grappler's CMB, plus the level of the spell you're
What is
casting.
your CMB, Eckhard?
4.
So it's 14 plus the level of spell, so it's a 15 concentration check. Alright, let's see if she can do this.
I think it might be CMD, not CMB.
Oh!
Nope, it's CMB.
So
Is it?
you watch
I'm looking at
Eckhard-
the FAQ.
You watch Eckhard as her hand starts to crackle with electricity, like she's about to cast a spell, but then you tighten your grip and the spell just fizzles. And she cannot get it off. And she's like, let me go, we have to send it back. And she continues to scream and shout and struggle. Bixland, you're up next. Couple more apostles. Not apostles, wrong term. Acolytes, there it is. Up here.
Well, I was gonna try and disrupt her spell casting, but I don't need to do that. I am going to. I'm just gonna call Pauly back to me. He can't move though, so that's fine. You know what? I'm gonna go open up this vault.
Yeah, 2 acolytes who were banging. The door is open. They're actually gonna move as they were readying themselves to move out. They're gonna flank in. Taxmaster Eckhard, we're moving in. We'll help restrain the prisoner. And they begin to move forward towards Eckhard.
What do I see in the room now? Is
You
it
see another Odafi, looking quite demure.
I cover her with my bow. Probably for the best if you don't go anywhere till we figure this shit out.
Pauly the Weasel returns to Bix's side, I believe.
Yeah, he'll leap over Godfrey and like scamper between everybody's legs and like bring the book to
To Bix.
Bix.
Cool. Hey, Bix. When the book gets up next to you, give me a will save.
Oh, my good save.
So you start to hear these whispers in your mind, and it's just very similar whispers to those, we will have what we desire most, we want, we must have it, it shall be ours. And it's a little unsettling. So you're gonna be shaken for the next couple of rounds here, next 2 rounds. It's just a little unsettling. Then, or Odafi, I should say, you're up next. Are you muted?
I still don't know what the heck is going on the other side, right?
No, you don't.
So yeah, then we'll actually take a step farther back.
Mhm.
Just hands up, continuing to try and look as innocent as possible.
Okay. And this acolyte here makes their move. They made it. Eckhard, you are grappling Odafi. What do you do next?
I'm going to attempt to advance it into a pin.
Love it. Roll them bones.
Also good.
Oh yeah, she is pinned on the ground, hands behind her back, unable to resist. You've got her on the ground, and she just continues to shout, "No, you don't understand. We have to send it back. We have to send it back. He's looking for it. We have to send it back. You don't understand." And Odafi, she's gonna try to undo the pin. Does an 11 do it?
No.
She struggles ineffectually and just continues to cry out in frustration. And Bix, you're up next. And really at this point, because she's been pinned and the acolytes are going to move in, we're going to drop out of combat in this moment. And she just continues to shout, "No, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. We have to send it back. We have to send it back. He's going to get it. He knows it's here. He knows it's here. We don't have enough time. He knows it's here.
Who knows it's here?
You fools. Godfrey, he knows it's here. He needs it. He wants it. We've got to send it back. You don't understand. You don't understand. I knew you wouldn't trust me. I tried to send it back. I was going to send it back." And she's just screaming and shouting and going on and on about how Godfrey, he wants this book and he's going to get this book and now he knows it's here. She's screaming his agents may already be in the city. Like, please, just let me send it away.
Figure that out once the high priestess gets down here.
And walking in. And you know what? Axel, Mikhael, would you have any reason to come to the Mint at any point? I'd love to get you involved.
I was gonna come tell them about my extremely informative findings at the library.
So you get to the Mint, and we're going to flash forward a little bit where, let's say, Odafi, tied up, shackled, is brought upstairs to that room that we were in. It's discovered at some point, I believe, that Ven was pretending to be Odafi. So, no offense, Ven. You're also shackled, I assume.
Yeah.
Eckhard, please
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, excellent. And we got the high priestess. Dawkin is currently recovering at the thing. The queen is actually not present here for this discussion. She's actually off at the barracks. She's having a meeting right now with none other than the mayor. You come to find out. She's getting that meeting with the mayor that you discussed. Sarah is incredibly intrigued as to what's going on, but I'm assuming she's not allowed into the meeting chamber. And Mikhael, you can also show up at this meeting as well. And you walk in, and there's a bunch of commotions going on. The acolytes are all a tizzy, and they're like, "All right, who are you? What's going on? Oh wait, you're that council guy. That makes sense. Okay."
Before I arrive,
Yeah.
just one question.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I asked the librarian, would he have told me where the book is? Does he know?
Oh,
No.
great question. He's not aware that that book was checked out.
All right, just checking.
There
I
it is.
get it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, little BS
cool.
there for you. That's good. That's good. All right, so we cut to a scene with everyone upstairs. And now I actually have acolyte tokens for you guys. Let me reposition these acolytes. They're gonna be guarding a couple of doors. Sarah's like, "What's going on? What's happening?" And they're like, "Silence. Like it's being handled." And she's like, "You guys are so mean. I just want to know." And so we see a scene of the door closed, Sarah with her eye at the keyhole looking inside, and I open the floor to you all. The high priestess is decidedly quiet right now as she is looking at Ven and Odafi with a rather disappointed look on her face, but she hasn't said anything. You let her know what happened. So I just want to open the floor to you guys.
I have one framing question for the high priest in character before we go. Banker, if we determine that this book is indeed within Godfrey's purview and he's after it, do we have and that sending it back to the plane of shadow is a feasible solution? Do we have your permission to do so?
If it is discovered that the book would empower a certain, and she chuckles, dickless prick, then yes. But I'm concerned. A book of such power, would it be returned to the plane of shadows? Could it also be used against us there? Things to ponder, Taxmaster. Things to ponder. And that would have been a little side scene, and we cut to the meeting chamber with Odafi sitting next to Ven, both of them shackled, and I leave the floor to you all. Seems oddly familiar.
Walk me through this again, please. What happened?
To Eckhard or to?
I'm turning to Eckhard. He seems like the person.
Well, it appears that Ven brought some sort of magic to bear to transpose their shapes or disguise themselves as one another in some way. Doing so, it appears that Godafeed either betrayed Ven or went against the plan. It seems, given that they don't seem to be liking each other right now.
How does Ven look in this moment?
Extremely pissed,
and
but also silent.
Odafi was
just like
detained.
Shackled like.
Odafi looks out of breath from protesting and arguing and like just, giving off her rants about how, we have to send it back. We have to get rid of it. Like, I know you don't trust me, but please, you have to believe me.
Yes. Bix, do you have anything to add to this recounting of events?
No, they pretty much got it.
All right, well. Normally, this would be the point where I try to have a civil discussion and figure out everyone's point of view in this whole affair. However, last time this did not go so well, and I do recall making a rather big commitment on Van Weaver's part. And I must admit, I'm feeling rather betrayed right now.
Yeah,
Is anyone else
we're all
feeling a
kinda
bit
pissed.
betrayed?
Absolutely. Despite what he did, I trusted him as a person, and I was punished for it.
Mikhael looks directly to Van when they say, "Is there anyone else feeling a little bit betrayed?"
What if he pipes up? It's not his fault. I compelled him to do what he did. He was not under his own faculties when he made those choices.
That is very
I'll-
cute, but I do not believe your word for a second, young lady.
I'll speak to you in a moment. I have a solution for your dishonesty. As he's writing in a notebook, literally writing down a list of questions to ask after truth-telling magic is cast.
Well, Van Weaver, do you have anything to say for yourself? Any excuses?
Only that I no, I'm good.
Do you protest to being reprimanded for your extremely illegal actions? This is a first. Well, we are a council member, so technically we can make our own decisions, but I would like to, since this is concerning the Queen's prisoner, who is very special to her, I do believe that we should wait before making any final decisions. And High Priestess, does this seem fair to you?
High Priestess takes a small little token out of a little pocket in her robes, and the little token looks to be a compass, but you notice that the little the arrow, the little arm, is spinning constantly, and she sets it in the center of the table, tapping it, and you see that the N, where the N would be for north, is actually a T, a capital T. And she taps it, and then it points north, kind of like hovering for a second. And she says, I think in this moment, we can all speak plainly and truthfully. And Eckhard, you would recognize this as a zone of truth compass. That is something that Abadarians will use from time to time to ensure honesty in a conversation, both among themselves and among folks that they may be interviewing, as it were. And she looks to Mikhael as well. And you see her play with that ring on her finger for a moment, and she says, I think the Queen is a bit too emotional when it comes to this young lady. Perhaps we should all discuss it a bit further before bringing it to her attention.
Indeed. I would also like an additional layer of assurance on Godofy's part. As it's possible to resist the effects of his zone of truth. And he'd approach Odofy, and he would look at her and say, if you attempt to resist this spell, that will be plain. If you submit to it, the book may end up going where you want if you tell us the truth. I'm about to cast Abadar's truth telling, by the way, if you want to read it.
She looks a little nervous. She looks a little uncomfortable, but she leans forward without protest.
All right. He would tap her with Abadar's truth telling, which is one of the spells I prepared today, expecting a completely social session and then running into the shadow.
Gotcha. All right, there it is.
And Abadar's truth telling is a single target zone of truth. The only difference being that if they fail or if they are actually affected by it, the symbol of Abadar appears above their head.
Excellent. So if they lie or they resist telling the truth, they'd see the symbol of Abadar. So you have both a zone of truth and Abadar's truth as well. That is fantastic. So she's definitely got to tell the truth.
Yes. Because otherwise there's no visible feedback for zone of truth.
So wait, if it's in effect, it goes above her head?
Yes. So it's currently glowing above her head, the symbol. She cannot tell a lie. Assuming she didn't resist.
Right. So if she resisted, the symbol wouldn't appear.
Yes, if she resisted,
Okay.
she would have not have failed the effect. She doesn't need to. I mean, if she failed the will save, it would still appear. But
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If it's in effect, the symbol's above her head.
It is in effect.
All right. And everyone else, go ahead and compose your questions if you have any. I will ask mine now. Would this book of shadows significantly help Godfrey if he obtained it?
Yes.
Would sending it to the plane of shadow make it more difficult or safer from his influence?
I believe so.
Was Vin compelled into acting as he did?
She pauses, she hesitates, and she looks to Ven. Out of the corner of her eye, does Ven meet her gaze?
No, but Ben is already shaking his head.
No, he was not.
Do you know of any other potential solutions for keeping the book out of Godfrey's hands?
And she hesitates on this question and kind of nods back and forth.
Beyond mundane means, anything that you would have based upon your special knowledge of the book.
There is a ritual that could be performed to absorb the book's power.
Would that result in the person absorbing it being a sacrifice to absolve it?
I'm not sure. I only read about it once in the Arcanum. I'm not even sure if it would work, but I believe this is the same ritual that Godfrey wishes to use to absorb the book's magic, its power, to help him achieve what he wants.
Could the book feasibly be used to benefit the Queen with the resources we have available?
Perhaps. I mean, it is a powerful artifact from the plane of shadows, and I would be willing to attempt the ritual to perhaps help it. I don't know. I don't know how to answer your question.
I understand. My last question, this one was not prepared. Is the ritual within your ability to complete without error based on knowledge or based on memory? Do you not need reference material? Do you have any reference material?
She breathes in a very deep breath, and she once again looks over to Ven, who I assume is still avoiding her gaze.
Hmm?
And then she finally, this whole time she hasn't looked up at Eckhard, but she finally looks up at Eckhard, that symbol of Abadar glowing brightly above her head, and she says, "Yes, I could do that."
Eckhard nods and gestures to the others. If they have any questions, they're free to ask them. The spell lasts for about 3 minutes, by the way. I assume I use about like a minute of it.
How do you really feel about Godfrey?
How does anyone feel about a father that was never really there?
I would like an answer that is not a question, if possible.
Do you act in Godfrey's interests in any case?
I act in my own interests.
She's avoiding the question.
Do your interests align with Godfrey's?
No.
Eckhard shrugs, goes back to his role as mediator there.
Well, it is all from me for Odyssey, Bix.
What are your intentions with Ven?
She looks to Ven, and there's a bit of a longing kind of look. I don't know. I see, I suppose, some of myself in him. He is or has been damaged by the apostles, and I don't know.
It's a fair answer.
Has the High Priestess also cast the Zone of Truth? So
She
everyone
still
is
has
telling
zone
the
of
truth.
Everyone has to be telling the truth, yeah, unless you want to try and resist it. Yeah.
Then, did she mean for this to happen?
No, not if he was supposed to escape. And I was supposed to take her place.
You're not really related, are you?
No, we met on the way here from Sunspire.
Now, I'm honestly curious, why go so far for her?
Because she's a cute girl in trouble and I could help. And I promised her I would.
That's the realest answer we've gotten all night.
I must
Perception
rethink
checks
my
from everyone,
assessment.
please. Eckhard, I gotta tell you, man, your perception checks are fire.
I don't know what's going on because my
fire.
like my wisdom isn't that great. I've got a +2 wisdom. I'm not like a cleric that's like a +5 wisdom off the bat and just rolling mad perception.
Bix, Ven, and Eckhard would all just have a moment of realization that you were hearing some movement, some commotion from outside, you know, acolytes moving around, etc. And it's gotten really quiet outside of the door. Like, really quiet.
Do you guys hear anything outside?
Eckhard stands up, hand on his
No.
pick,
No.
moves around to the other end of the table or other end of the, and stands against the door. Beck,
Pauly, be ready.
You don't hear anything. It sounds like unnaturally quiet on the other side of the door.
will open the door about a third of the way to peek out.
You go to open the door and it feels like someone is slumped against it. So it takes a moment for you to push it.
Mm-hmm.
As you push it open, you see an unconscious Sarah lying on the floor. It appears that she was struck in the back of the head with something hard. And you would see several, 2 to be exact, dead acolytes, their throats cut, and 2 of them unconscious with similar blows to the back of their head. And as you step into the room, you realize that there is a silence spell that has been cast inside of this room.
Bix, if there's something going on, you're going to need me. Unshackle me.
Eckhard would step back and say, "It's been silenced. 2 acolytes dead. 3 down."
I walk over and unshackle them.
Yeah.
Odafi starts to get very agitated, and she goes, shit. They're here. They're fucking here. I told you, you fucking idiots. If you'd just let me do what I had to do. Oh my god, they're here.
Up.
And you see there is this symbol, that little blue tattoo that's like just under. You can see a slight blue glowing. And then where is your blue tattoo? But
Also on my
yeah,
shoulder,
you
right
see a
above my
slight
heart.
glowing, and it starts to burn a little bit. And that usually happens
Ah!
when a high-ranking member of the Arcanum is likely nearby.
She's not wrong. We're all marked with these to make sure we obey. Oh,
Lovely.
probably
Should we-
downstairs.
Then should we reshackle you?
No, it's fine. I've turned against it before. It just hurts.
I'm gonna turn into fox form and start sneaking down to the vault.
And as you go to sneak down to the vault, go ahead and move yourself down to the vault layer. And you find a couple of other unconscious acolytes. You find a couple of other unconscious folks. And as you round the corner, you see the doors have been almost torn asunder. Like they were like ripped open. And standing where the book should be. Now here's my question. Does Bix still have the book? Or would you have put it back in the vault?
I probably would have held on to it.
Well, I assume we were pretty busy, like resting Odafy
Cool.
upstairs, and
You see a shadowy, weird-looking cloaked guy who's wearing a mask. It looks very, very familiar as you round the corner, Mikhael. And it looks like this person is very annoyed and is very actively
He's about
looking.
to be more annoyed. He's getting a dart to the back.
And go ahead and roll the attack roll.
All right.
wait for him to miss on a 26.
Yeah. Well, he is flat-footed.
I repeat my statement.
Yeah.
The dart
staying upstairs with-
flies. The dart flies true, but instead of striking the man, it seems to pass through him and embed itself into the table. The man turns, and you see that he is wearing a mask that appears to be made of shadows. These eyes behind the shadowy mask are glowing this kind of like dark blue. And the voice, a dark, shadowy voice, says, "Where is the book?"
Ven looks at Eckhard and goes, "Permission to use flaming burning hands?"
I'm down. I assume that the most things in this vault are not flammable. They're precious
No,
metals.
they're all
I
precious
assume,
metals and things
shit.
of that nature. That is correct.
Yeah. I'm just making sure I'm not burning down a library.
Ven
Yeah.
charges in and burns burning
As
hands.
Ven charges in, I need you to give us a will save, Ven.
Can do.
Fantastic.
Oh,
No,
no.
Jesus.
Ven gets to the second door right at the precipice. His hands rise up, and then all you see inside. What the heck just happened there? With
What?
Sorry. Is
which-
it my
looks like
webcam?
you're now a kitty cat with a little wagging tail, Mikhael. Wow, that took me
Yeah,
out of the
that's
moment.
weird.
That's fine. But as you bring your hands up, all you see in this moment then is that memory, that dark, horrible memory as you cast that spell and you could see their faces, the people, and you crumple to the ground, and that symbol, that tattoo burns like it's being branded into you for the first time again and again and again, and you crumple to the ground, unable to move. The shadowy man before you says, "I shall find it, and it shall be mine." And there is a wisp of smoke as he just literally disappears into a pluff of smoke before you. The other acolytes who were not knocked unconscious or slain start to swarm all over the mint. There is commotion. The mint is starting to go into lockdown mode. The high priestess is starting to get everything locked down again for high security. And I'm curious, how do all of you react to this moment?
I could probably be helping organize acolytes.
And as you
I
all
run back to Bix to make sure. the book is there.
organize acolytes, we pivot over back upstairs. We see the acolytes being pivoted. Some of the ones that were wounded, they weren't actually fully slain. They were just knocked down. They were actually brought back to life, healed back up. The entire mint is locked down. And Odafy, Bix, you and Odafy were left in the room together for a moment. And she looked over to you. And there was this kind of like questioning kind of look on her face, as though like she wanted to ask you something. And I'm curious, would you have stayed and pried her for whatever was on her mind, or would you have just left to go assist with everything else that was going on?
I would have asked her what was up.
I know you have it on you. Give it to me and I can end this. I can end this forever.
Is the symbol over her head still?
Symbol is gone. It's been long enough to where the symbol has dissipated.
Sense motive.
Bix, it's hard to tell. You know, it's someone that, you know, seems like she's lied to you, but she did seem like she was telling the truth. So you're not getting a good, strong feeling either way in this moment.
Bix looks out the door, like looks back over at her. Takes a couple steps, hands her the book, looks her dead in the eyes, and says, "If you fuck us over, I will kill you, and I will skin you, and I will sell your pelt." And he turns around and walks out the door.
As he turns around and walks out the door, Pauly looks back, and Pauly's the one that sees this. There is this almost kind of green mist kind of drifts up and around Odify for a moment. She whispers to herself as she, even with her shackled hands, flips open the book. "I'll have what you desire most, Father.
Oh,
It will be mine." And that, my friends, is where we're going to end today's session. Good job, everybody. Ah! Oh, it was fun. Good job, everybody.
That was great. Yeah.
That was a fantastic session. Y'all did great. I was funny when you said that, Blau. You're like, I didn't prepare any attack spells. I prepared truth shit. I was like,
I did.
yeah.
I had ears of the city, Avadar's truth telling, and I had protection from evil to disrupt a
Oh my
compulsion / possession.
That is fantastic, man. But no, what'd you guys think? Did you have a good time?
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm really excited. It's fun with you guys because what I try to do as your storyteller here is just set up a lot of these moments, and then I just see how you react to them. And you know, that's the beauty of a role-playing game, is because I don't know what's going to happen. You know, maybe you hadn't noticed Odify in the first and she would have done something. Maybe, you know, Bix hadn't given her the book. Like, there's all these decisions you make, and I have to like prepare this kind of web of, this is what happens if this thing happens, then this, you know what I mean? So it's really fun because I don't know what you guys are going to do. But Bix, I just got to tell you, Drubaka, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough.
I have one question to ask you that might ruin your thank you.
No, go for it.
Can she perform the ritual about manacled and bound? Because Bix doesn't have keys to those manacles. Those are Abadarian manacles.
That's a great question that you'll find out next session.
All right.
That's a great question. Probably not. But still, it's super fun. And I love
just letting you know. I just thought I'd remind you.
I love it. Well, to all of our viewers that stopped in today, I do appreciate you guys watching, guys and gals, and you'll see these fine gentlemen back here next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for session. Is it session 9?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! You know what's also crazy? You guys just leveled up to level 4. So good job,
That's crazy.
everybody. Yeah, let's get weird.
Ooh,
I love it.
ooh! That
Ooh,
means
ooh.
Pauly's medium-sized, and I can ride him now.
That's
Nice.
the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my entire life. That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. Also, Pauly doesn't like Odify. Pauly doesn't like a lot of people other than Bix. He likes that kid, though. But no, everyone's doing a great job. To all of our viewers, thank you so much for watching. And as I always say at the end of every stream, thanks for watching and happy gaming. We will catch you next time for session 9 of Trials of Solaria, Broken Oaths, and some weird shadowy stuff. But in the meantime, be well and be safe, everybody. Cheers.